Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. It feels like it's been a long time coming because it is about time I did an autumn book haul, and the good news is most of these books bar one are ones that I've never read before, so we're gonna discover them and the blurbs together and hope this gives you inspiration for what books you guys want to read in autumn. I have 6 books, all spooky, dark and also really cozy at the same time. And if you want to see what I picked up, because this is, I want to say this on camera so it's a bit more official, this is my last book haul for the year, except the Christmas books that I might get, who knows. But I'm not going to spend any more money on any books that aren't Christmas themed. So this is kind of like this is what I'll be reading for the rest of the year as well. So if you want to see them, just carry on watching. I'm going to start off with the book I actually finished this morning, and it is very fitting for this time of year, especially spooky season. It is The Haunting of Alma Fielding. It is a non-fiction true ghost story, and let me tell you, it is so good. It is written by Kate Summerscale, and she writes it in such a way that it feels like she's like just a narrator telling a story, but it kind of borderline feels like it's fiction, but it's not because it's actually true. It follows Nandor Fodor, who's a Jewish-Hungarian refugee and a chief ghost hunter, and he works for the International Institute for Psychical Research, and it follows him investigating this housewife's haunting, and her name is Alma Fielding. She lives in South London. Very spookily, she lives where I work. It felt very strange to read it because it felt like the haunting was happening like where I've been. It's kind of very spooky, and what I love about this story is even though it talks about the haunting, him trying to investigate, he does uncover some dark secrets and traumatic experiences that Alma had in the past, but also Kate Summerscale talks about other investigations that he's done, but also other like investigators have done as well. And it also highlights on how the general political landscape, or like the country's landscape, was at the time, because this is set in 1938 and just before the Second World War, so it's kind of about the tension about whether there's going to be a war or not as well. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't a haunting that I was expecting as such, especially with the conclusion, but then again, not all hauntings are traditional ghosts. It could be psychological as well. So this is really fascinating. I highly recommend this, and definitely going to read this again soon. Other books that I've picked up are ones that I haven't read yet. I'm going to start with the one that I'm actually going to read next, and it is one that I saw featured on the front table Waterstones, and it is called Pine, and I absolutely love the cover. It's just so simple but also really stunning as well. Can we just admire it for a second? So this one I was drawn to because of how the story was described, so I'm just going to read it out to you. Well, I'm going to read every like bit at the back for you guys, and I'll also try and leave links to the books in Waterstones below in the description box. And yeah, let's just discover this one together. So Lauren and her father Niall live alone in the Highlands in a small village surrounded by a pine forest. When a woman stumbles out onto the road one Halloween night, Niall drives her back to their house in his pickup. In the morning, she's gone. In a community where daughters rebel, men quietly rage, and drinking is a means of forgetting, mysteries are not out of the ordinary. Locked doors and stone circles the disappearance of Lauren's mother a decade ago. Lauren looks for answers in her tarot cards, hoping she might one day be able to read her father's turbulent mind. Neighbours know more than they let on, but when a local teenager goes missing, it's no longer clear who she can trust. This just sounds so full of mystery, so spooky as well, and I just can't wait to get into it. It does sound very cozy autumnal, especially when it's like a village surrounded by a pine forest. That's so like autumnal to me. I don't know why. But definitely can't wait to read this. I will let you guys know. In fact, if you want to keep up with my views on these books, especially when I read them, do follow me on my Goodreads, which is at Franalibi, and I also have a Bookstagram account which I always post reviews on as well, so that is literally just Fran Anna Reads. I will link the links in the description box below as well. So next book is one book that I can't wait to read. I love a big book as well, over 700 pages of goodness, and this one is Philip Pullman's The Book of Dust, Volume 2, The Secret Commonwealth. I have read the first one, absolutely loved it, can't wait to pick up the second one. I didn't get it when it first came out because I'm very funny with certain hardbacks. I will read a hardback now, I'm very more open-minded about that, but if it's quite a big book and it's a hardback, it's just too heavy to carry, so I just wait till the paperback edition's out. So this second one is actually following Lyra. So it says Lyra Silvertongue is now studying at Sophia's College, Oxford, with her demon Pantalaimon. They are not getting on. Lyra's questioning everything she once held dear. Pam misses the impulsiveness of their youth. When an act of terrible violence breaks the peace of Oxford night, Lyra and Pam's relationship reaches a crisis, and they are drawn far from home into the dangerous factions of a world they had no idea existed. So what intrigues me is this is actually set when she's grown up, and obviously I've read his Dark Materials, I've watched the BBC adaptation, absolutely loved it, and I'm really intrigued if they ever do a real adaptation of The Book of Dust. There is one more book after this which will hopefully be published soon, but it's nice to have like a more adult fiction of a book you enjoyed as a child, and I just can't wait to read this. I'm definitely going to read this after Pine. I've got everything in like mental order of how I'm going to read things, and I'm just so excited. So if you have read this, let me know in the comments what you thought. I'd love to know, and yes, I'm so excited to get stuck into it. The next one is one that I was like excited to get, and I didn't even know it was coming out, and I've read Sayaka Maruta's Convenience Store Woman. I think I said her name wrong. Apologise if I did because I cannot pronounce foreign names. If you know me well, I'm just like blah 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 blah. So this is her second book, Earthlings, which when I was in Waterstones, the sales assistant behind the till actually said this is really dark, but she writes it in such a nice way where it doesn't feel too heavy, but it's full of like dark themes, and reading this, what it's about, really shows that. So Natsuki isn't like the other gals. Together with her cousin Yu, she spends her summers in the wild Nagano mountains, hoping a spaceship will take her home. When a terrible sequence of events threatens to part the cousins forever, they make a promise: survive no matter what. Now Natsuki is grown, she lives quietly in an asexual marriage, pretending to be normal, hiding the horrors of her childhood from her family and friends. But dark shadows from Natsuki's past are pursuing her. Fleeing the suburbs from the mountains of Nagano, Natsuki prepares herself for a reunion with Yu. Will he still remember their promise, and will he help her keep it? A dark magical reckoning with what it might take to survive a shattered life. Earthlings is an exhilarating cosmic flight that will leave you reeling. Ooh, this is so exciting. I particularly just want to point out, I love the cover. It looks so cute, but it's kind of dark at the same time. It's like a little hamster gerbil toy, and then on the back it's got the hooks that are in those arcade toy kind of games where you have to try and grab the toy. So I'm very intrigued with how the design of this cover fits in with the story itself, and maybe she gets abducted by aliens, I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out. So that is one other book that I've picked up. The other book is also by an author who I can't pronounce the name of, and is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. It is the second book from Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and it's about a cafe where you go to go back to the past and visit a moment and a person, but you have to drink it before the coffee gets cold, otherwise you could get stuck in the past or something else happens to you. And this is the author's name, so that's his lovely name that I can't pronounce. But this one is probably based more around other characters that go to the cafe, and I love the first one. It was actually quite a cozy read, very like autumnal, and I'm hoping this one is just as cozy to read as well. There's a lot of words of cozy thrown around, like honestly count how many times I say cozy in this video, and I will send you a free virtual slice of pizza. So another book that I absolutely loved. And last one is more of like a mythical kind of magical read, and it is from Susanna Clarke. It is Piranesi, can't pronounce it either. So this one was by the author of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I absolutely love that book. That book encompasses everything autumnal and cozy to me. I just love it. So I couldn't wait to read this one. This one is very interesting. So it says Piranesi lives in the house, perhaps he always has. In his notebooks, day after day, he makes a clear and careful record of its wonders, the labyrinth of halls, the thousands upon thousands of statues, the tides that thunder up staircases, the clouds that move in slow procession through the upper halls. On Tuesdays and Fridays, Piranesi sees his friend, the other. At other times, he brings tributes of food and water needs to the dead, but mostly he is alone. Messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house, but who are they and what do they want? Are they a friend, or do they bring destruction and madness as the other claims? Lost texts must be found, secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. The beauty of the house is immeasurable, its kindness infinite. I just love the sound of that. It sounds so full of mystery, and I feel like if she writes Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I know this is going to be such a good book to read. And I just want to talk about the design of the inside cover, because it's full of like bees and seashells and seahorses, and it's just stunning. Like, can we just appreciate that quickly? I absolutely just love it. So those are all the books that I picked up, ready to read for the rest of the year. If you enjoyed this little haul, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and click the notification bell below to get updates when I next upload a video. And I will see you guys very soon for another video. Also, let me know which book you loved in the comments below, and yeah, I will see you soon. Goodbye!